Welcome everyone to this new video. This is about chapter 13, the costs of production. We are going to work throughout quick multiple choice. This is the book of Gregory Mankiw, Principles of Economics, 7th edition. So here, the first question says, Rak opens up a lemonade stand for 2 hours. He spends $10 for ingredients. So we can say that the cost of this person is about $10. So remember, all the ingredients they cost this value. Then they sell, he sells $60 worth of lemonade. So this is going to be the total revenue for this guy. Okay, so in the same 2 hours, he could have mowed his neighbor's lawn for $40. So automatically, we understand here that this is an opportunity cost, because instead of mowing his neighbor's lawn, he is preparing lemonade. So this is the opportunity cost. What is foregone in order to because this guy is producing or is selling lemonade. So then the question is, Rag has an accounting profit of, an economic profit of. So remember, accounting profit, they just take into account the flows of money. An economic profit, we take into account the opportunity cost. And actually, inside the opportunity cost, we take into account the implicit cost. And this one definitely is an implicit cost. You don't need to pay that, but it affects your decision to put or to open up a lemonade stand. So then, accounting profit could be 60, which is going to be the revenue, minus the costs. It's going to be 50. And then the economic profit is going to be the revenue minus the explicit cost, which is going to be 10, minus the implicit cost is going to be 40. So then really the economics profit is going to be 10. Then the question, we have these four options, and naturally the question will be answered by the option 50 by accounting profit and 10 by economic profit. Then the second one says diminishing marginal product explains why as a firm's output increases. So first we need to remember, what do we refer when we talk about diminishing marginal product? The idea of this basic concept is that when we increase one worker here, which is going to be the input, the production will increase, but it will increase in different quantities. So as you notice here, the slope of this curve is getting flatter. So this is the principle of diminishing marginal product. And at the same time, we can compare that with the total cost. Here we have 30, which is automatically the fixed cost. Why? Remember, fixed costs are the costs that they are not related with the quantity produced. So here it doesn't matter how much quantity we produce, we have to pay every single time this $30. So this one, the cost is like kind of this increases, but the slope it gets steeper, and this is they have like the opposite side of the coin. So when this one is getting flatter, the cost getting higher, because your marginal cost of people is going to be higher compared with the quantity produced. They are not as productive, and you need to pay in the same quantity them. So for this reason, this is the cost, the marginal, the total cost curve. Okay, then at the options we have here, so naturally remember our two graphs, so we need to find one who says, so which says this one is getting flatter and this one is getting steeper. So then this one, the production function, gets flatter while the total cost curve gets steeper. Our third question says a firm is producing 1,000 units at a total cost of 5,000. if it were to increase production to 1001 units, its total cost would rise to $5,008. So what this information tell you about the firm? So here we're going to summarize the idea. We're going to retake some important concepts that you really need to take into consideration to understand this this idea, this topic. So then remember, the marginal cost we can define as the change in total cost over 1 usually, because it's an additional unit. So here we can abbreviate them with marginal cost is equal to delta. This triangle is called in the Greek alphabet delta, which represents change in total cost over the change in quantities. So here we have what information we have here. We have here total cost, which is going to be 5,000. Then we have the marginal cost concept. Then we can infer with this information here. Automatically, there is an increase in production to 1001 unit. So it's going to be the final one minus the initial one. It's going to be 1 as usual. Then we have the total cost, which is going to be this difference. So in the numerator we have 8 over 1 is going to be 8. So this is the marginal cost. And what is the definition or the interpretation of that number? It means that if you produce 1 unit additional, the cost of this particular additional unit is going to be $8. And what about the average total cost? So the average total cost here is going to be total cost over quantity. Then we can abbreviate them as ATC equal total cost over quantities. And here is the question. And here we have 5,000 over 1,000 is going to be 5. So here the marginal cost of the 1001 unit is going to be 8, and the average total cost of this quantity produced is going to be 5. Then we have these options. So naturally we're going to choose this one when the marginal cost is 8 and the average variable cost is 5. Then a firm is producing 20 units with an average total cost of $21 and marginal cost of 15. If it were to increase production to 21 units, which of the following must occur? So here, how I understood and how I interpret this question was in the same way. So here we have the quantity produced is going to be 20, then the average total cost is going to be 25, and the marginal cost is 15. Then we have these options. How we can proceed to understand that? First, one important fact of this one is that automatically you recognize that the marginal cost is lower than the average total cost. So what does it mean? It means that the ATC is in a decreasing part. And why? Remember the example of the average grade point. So imagine that your average, so your GPA is 25 and your next exam is going to be 15. Then automatically this one is going to decrease. So for this reason, when the MC is lower than this one, this is decreasing. And on the other side, if you have a better score in the next exam, is going to be 30. So this one is going to increase. So it's in the increasing part. So we automatically infer that. Then at this time we can infer that definitely the marginal cost will increase. And how? Actually take into account these two questions. So we are here in the marginal cost, which traditionally is going to be this, so like a U shape a little bit. So this is the fact. We have here the marginal cost and here with the ATC. So in this time, remember we are here where the marginal cost is lower than the ATC. So this time it still needs to increase. Okay, so that's the general idea. But I must admit at this time that maybe you can answer at this time that the average at this time that the average total cost would decrease. Okay, so both are this kind of tricky one, but I would say that definitely because this is increasing, so I would say that this is increasing as well. Okay, then the 5-1, the government imposes a 1,000 per year license fee on all pizza restaurants, which cost curves shift as a result. Then important thing that it will not affect any quantities. So why? Because it doesn't matter if one restaurant produces and sell 1,000 pizzas, another one they sell 500 pizzas. Anyway, they need to pay the same quantity. So for this reason, this is the fact that everyone needs to pay. Then we have these 4 answers. So let's focus on the changes. So first, we know that it's going to be a change in the fixed cost, naturally. And when there is a change in that, remember that the total cost is equal to variable costs plus fixed cost. So then it's going to be a change as well in TC, which is the total cost. Then automatically, if you divide these by quantities and these change, naturally the average fixed cost will change as well. So there's going to be a change. And the other one is going to be this one. When we divide by Q, which is the definition of the average total cost, it will change as well because the total cost, it means the numerator changes. So for this reason, I should say that the average total cost, this one, and the average fixed cost, they change. The um, the last one is about if a higher level of production allows workers to specialize in particular tasks, a firm will likely exhibit of scale and average total cost. So we need to remember our different costs in the short run and in the long run. So when we talk about economies of scale or these economies of scale of constant returns to scale, we are talking about the long run. Remember the difference between short and long run. It doesn't mean that 1-2 years, it depends on the field, but the basic idea is that in the long run you don't have fixed costs and all the costs are variables and you can change the size of your factory. So for this reason you can evolve in some way the different plans that you can have in the short run. So the idea is that when you have the first part, you have a specialization of the workers. So for this reason, they face an economies of scale. So for this one, we want to connect specialization. This is going to be exhibit economies of scale and the average total cost diminishing. Okay, and diminishing average total cost. So here, there's going to be naturally economies unfolding. Okay, I hope it's worth. You have a better idea. I don't have like this is my opinion. It's how I think that you can solve these exercises. If you think that maybe something is wrong, that we can learn together something, I really appreciate you coming. Remember subscribe and ask your comments. That's it. I apologize again for my voice because maybe it's not the best today, but I really want to make this new video. Okay, have a great day. Bye bye. Thank you.